Welcome back, listeners, to another interesting episode on the BizBlend Podcast. I'm your host, Sana, as always, and this is the space where we decode the mindset, methods, and meaning behind modern business and leadership. Now, today we are diving into a conversation that every mid career professional, especially the men out there, balancing fatherhood, leadership, and a sense of what's next needs to hear. Our guest today is Dean Taylor. He is a mentor, speaker, and a man on a mission to help seasoned career fathers reignite purpose, build self image, and also create powerful daily habits that are rooted in gratitude and growth. So, after 25 years of lived experience and transformation, Dean now guides others to break free from stagnation and also rediscover what truly drives them or ignites them. So, if you have ever felt like this tension between who you are and who you know you are meant to be, this once is definitely for you. So, Dina, welcome to the show, and I'm really, really honored to have you here with us.
Well, thank you, Santa, for having me. I am really excited and honored to be a guest on your show today.
Absolutely. So, Dean, before we talk about the topic, um, would you like to share a bit about your journey? I mean, before getting into coaching and helping others, what exactly motivated you?
Yes, thank you. I started my career off working as a nurse in the newborn intensive care unit. I did that for about 7 years, and I always knew I wanted to have a master's degree,
Mhm.
but I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And I came across a program that introduced me to combining healthcare, my nursing background in healthcare with information technology. And so I made a transition into healthcare IT administration. And I did that, and I've done that since then. So about 18 years in that
Yeah.
field.
Well, that is really phenomenal. Oh, really great. Thank you. Thank you, Jean. Okay. So now let's talk about our topic. So you talk a lot about daily success habits. Um, so what were the very first small changes that helped you reclaim a sense of direction, and why do you think consistency is more powerful than motivation?
Well, I love this question. I I began a change in myself. I read a book. I don't know if how many listeners may have heard of this book, the Miracle Morning. I've
Mhm,
always been a morning person. Like to get up, and I enjoy the quiet and the stillness of the morning.
mhm.
Uh, but I read the book, The Miracle Morning, and I thought, wow, this is a very interesting idea. I hadn't heard about a specific routine that I could follow. So I thought, well, I will give this a try. And there's specific things that are talked about in the book where it's called the Savers routine, where you practice silence and affirmations and visualization, exercise, reading, and journaling or scribing. And I began to do that. And that was after about a week and a half of just consistently changing how I spent my time in the morning. I noticed a change, a shift inside of me that I felt more confident. Uh, I felt that I had intention for my day. I felt like I was developing a purpose of why I was getting up in the morning.
Yeah.
And I have done that now for the last well over 2 years. I've done it every day, and I track myself. And so I've done this for this morning, before I got on the show, I finished my morning routine and day 747 in a row of doing Miracle Morning. So that was the beginning of this change in me, this shift, and as I've continued to do that, and other things, and I've added in, and continued to grow. But that was the beginning for me, was when I began changing how I woke up, literally every morning.
Definitely. That's exactly is the best of the time, because discipline can be really boring. Consistency can be really boring, and that's what exactly kind of derails us from getting that particular, habit achieved, or our target or our goal achieved. So this definitely, is a perfect example of the power of discipline.
And I would add saying that, "Oh, I've done this thing so many times and done this for 2 years," and it almost can seem overwhelming if someone were probably listening and going, "Oh, I could never do that." I there are mornings where I do this routine and it's under 5 minutes, or it's 5 or 10 minutes of my morning. Other times, if I have more time, I take longer, but it doesn't my point is, it doesn't have to be something that is you spend your whole morning doing. It's just a little way to jumpstart your day.
Yeah, you're right. And Dean, yeah, this is such an obvious question. Mindset. I mean, it's such a buzzword today.
Mm.
But then looking at looking at this, from the perspective of men who are over 40, how can they retrain their minds? When their past failures can keep, resurfacing. Yeah,
I love that, and that and the reason I started with the explanation of the miracle morning was, as I began to work on just how I woke up every morning, I began this, uh, transformation in myself. I started to ask myself, "Well, what is my what is my purpose in life, and what do I really want to achieve?" And as I thought about that, as I was developing myself and doing it with real focus, uh, and having that question about, well, where was I headed? I think a lot of men and fathers and people in career think about, uh, and question sometimes, is this all? Am I meant for more?
yeah.
And I began to think about that question, ask me, what is my purpose? And I I began to, uh, as I began reading and thinking about that, I just kept researching, and actually one day I have a really good friend of mine, and I told him, so I feel like I have greater purpose. And so I had, through my research and reading, I come across an exercise that that I wanted to try, and I knew I wanted to do it with someone that I could feel, uh, enough trust that I could share experiences I wouldn't feel, I could share, things inside my heart, and could trust that. And so I have a friend that was willing to help me do that, and that was when I began to develop a personal purpose statement, for my life. And that it was just a small thing. It was just, but
Mhm.
it helped me to start seeing how I could, who I was. And because often people will say, what I found was, uh we often say, well, my why is my family or something like that. And I think those are definitely results of what our why is. I think our why is really, and our purpose is who we are at our very core, who we are as a person, the things that we value. And that's what as I began to understand and really tap into that and
Mhm.
realize that how I am every day is driven by who I am internally as a person, the things I truly value. And when I understood that, that began to help me open up and see a greater vision and purpose for who I am and how I could basically be a be that person every day in my life. And that sounds maybe kind of weird thinking about
Yeah.
an older man, mid 40s, 50s thinking, well, what? But it was that that was that's I guess that's just my story and how I came to start changing my own mindset. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone will have their own unique journey and story. But I guess I believe that the essence, the fundamentals, they will always remain the same.
Yes. I think, yeah, who we are, right, who we are at our core. Yeah, our values. Absolutely.
The another really important aspect that you um, emphasize on is the language. The language of how we speak to ourselves and others. So, how exactly does this language, Dean, either limits or empowers leadership?
Yes, I feel like what I should say feel like what I've learned in my growth as I have been as we've been talking about intentional about really being clear and driving who I'm trying to become every day. I really learned that, and I think we all probably do this, but we have there's a lot of self-talk going on in our heads. When we there's a lot of chatter that happens, and I began to realize that the words that I say to myself really matter because I'm always listening and subconsciously at least to what I'm saying. And so if I'm telling myself I'm not good enough, if I'm telling myself I'm not smart enough, or those words really matter. And as I began to be really careful about the things I even said internally about myself, and I noticed that my ability to lead and my ability to be confident in myself, uh,
Mhm.
and how I'll just maybe just give you an example. Like there were times when uh, I would maybe be in a meeting or I would be interacting with someone, and I would I would not state what I really felt because I was worried about there was a lack of confidence in myself, and I thought, well, my opinion, will this really matter, or am I uh, smart enough or wise enough to give this counsel or give this thought? Uh, but as I really started paying attention to the things that I said about myself and and the words that I chose, I my confidence again, I go back to the confidence and really shifted, and I began to see myself as a person of value, and the thoughts and words that I have had uh, had meaning, and I could help people. I could help my team. I could help uh, myself to be a better person, a better leader by not. talking down about myself. That makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then, you know, I guess internal dialogue, it often mirrors external performance. So, do you have any specific power phrase, I mean, if you're okay to share, that you use to recenter during any challenging or tough times?
Well, like a phrase or something that I'll that I've used before. That your question?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. I have my own. I recite to myself my personal purpose statement every day. And for me, I'm a man of like I come from a faith background, a Christian background. So my personal statement, and I say this to myself, and I'll say it often in the mirror that I am a son of God and the light unto His people. And through my passion and learning for growth, I'm
Mhm.
able to part hope and help to those in need. And as I share my gifts and generosity, my own life overflows with joy and abundance. So I say that to myself every day.
It's like a prayer that you do.
Yes.
That is really beautiful. And with prayer, it reminds me that gratitude is such an important part of, whether it's personal growth or it's healing or it's just a journey, one's journey, because what you have, maybe some other person next to you may not have that. So uh, you often highlight gratitude as a game changer. So, but a- if speaking, at a practical level,
Hmm.
when life feels like it's falling apart, that's not the first instinct. We always curse it that it's why is happening to me? It keeps on happening with me only. God is really, really not happy with me. So, how do you help someone access gratitude in the face of real adversity?
Mm. Yeah, I love this question. Thank you for asking this because I, uh, for me, when the- I would say this if someone's yeah, boy, this is such a good question. Because when you're facing real adversity, like you said, it is the last thing you're thinking of is about gratitude, gratitude for what you're going through. But here's something that I would say. And this is what I have uh, developed a practice and a habit of doing. And again, this is stuff that I have uh, learned over time. But I have learned that there are three three levels, three parts of being grateful and gratitude. And the first uh, is thankfulness. And when I say thankfulness, and I think when we first think about gratitude, we think of and that's what we think about is just being thankful, which is great. I think that's the first step. And so I have a practice of writing down just three things that I'm thankful for every day, and regardless of my circumstance, and what I may be feeling, it can be even as simple as uh, I've written down, I'm thankful that I have feet that allow me to go on a walk today. Because one of the things that I've done when I feel I'm struggling or there's something really adverse going on is I I like to walk. I like to go on a walk and it helps me to think and to sort through my feelings. And so just even being thankful, and I'll just share this, and this is really what I've written down, and I in my journal I wrote, I'm thankful that I have shoes. I'm thankful that I have feet that work, and I'm thankful that I have this uh, there's a path in our neighborhood. I have a path that I can go walk on every day, and just starting with something even that basic uh, is uh, help is something that I would tell someone, uh,
Mhm.
just just writing down thoughts of thankfulness, and then uh, but even going a little bit deeper than that is what why am I thankful for those things? What do I feel about those things, and why am I thankful for them? Because when we take the things that we're thinking in our mind about what we were thankful for, and we turn those into feelings of real appreciation and get them into our heart, then we begin to feel the emotion and the gratitude for them.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I would say is I have I have found that as I try to do one thing every day to give more than is expected of me. If I can do one simple thing, and it can be really simple. Another
Mhm.
example is just even smiling at someone when they may not
Yeah,
expect you to smile, or to say hello to them.
exactly.
And so doing those three things doing those three things every day has helped me to first is get the thoughts of thankfulness into my mind, and then why am I thankful for them? So that creates the feeling of appreciation, and then trying to do one thing I can do in a simple way that would be giving more than what someone might expect from me that day.
Mm. No, very simple, yet we, I guess most of us, we kind of, um, unintentionally forget to do this because um, yes, we are thankful for so many things, but before getting into all these conversations, I never used to write down what I am thankful for, or even think about that I'm really thankful for the opportunities given to me, or the people I'm working with, or my family, or just having a roof over my head and having proper meals for the day to keep myself healthy. Why am I thankful for them? And I guess the most important, just saying someone, just smiling at someone. Let's say you are just going for grocery shopping and just, saying thank you to the person at the counter. Guess these small things, they do matter.
Yeah,
Mm.
sorry. Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, 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 please go ahead, Dean. Please go ahead.
I was just thinking when you said that, I was reminded of a story. And this is just another, again, a simple story. As I was in a shopping line one day, and there was a lady in front of me with a small child, and they were
Mm.
people don't often pay for things in cash anymore,
Yeah.
but she was trying to help her. I assumed it was a grandchild pay for something, and they were using coins and cash, and she seemed to be a bit nervous about that. It seemed to be taking taking longer, because usually people just swipe their card and they're on their way.
Yeah.
And uh, she kept looking back at me nervously, as if she thought I was going to be really annoyed about the time it was taking to count the money. And I smiled at her, and I just let her know that I was thought that that was such a sweet thing she was doing, helping her that this child learn how to pay. And I could just see the tension sort of just melt away on her face. And I thought it was just a simple, another, again, a simple example of how uh, being kind and showing and doing something that someone may not expect, and being kind of generous can help other people on their daily way, and hopefully creates a ripple effect, and
But
someone else's day for her day as well.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this happens with every one of us. I mean, for example, when I was just learning to use the ATMs for the first time, I would always be so tensed that okay, I shouldn't take much time because there are people, uh, in the line, and I used to like in a state of confusion that okay, I'm just looking at using the ATM and then I'm looking backwards and seeing the people getting annoyed. But if somebody is definitely not getting annoyed and just, calm and okay, fine, I'm waiting, you just figure it out. I guess that kind of, um, you know, reassures us that, you know, um, good people are there. They're still there in this world. Um,
Yes.
and I mean, human people are there. And exactly that's how, in fact, that the internal dialogue, it often kind of projects itself in form of, external habits or external happenings around us as well. It mirrors our external performance also. So yeah, exactly. I mean, you gave such a great example, Dean. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, absolutely.
Great. And yeah, before we conclude, um, I think this has to be touched on upon. So purpose. I mean, you mentioned your childhood dreams. They were never really gone. They were just dormant, lying somewhere down in there. So, what would you say to men? Let's say to everyone who believe that it's too late to find purpose again.
I have here's what I would say. I would say it's never too late to start dreaming again, but it's always too early to stop. Uh, I, 'Cause I felt that deeply, and this the question about purpose and uh, dreaming again. I found when I was feeling so stuck and
Mhm.
and I man, I was so worried about what are people going to think about me if I really said that I want to do something different or I want to have more in my life because eh, and I feel like I think a lot of people feel that way, especially as they get older in life. They think that there is this pattern of well, well, I guess I would say this is what I was telling myself was why can't I just be content with where I'm at? Why can't I just be content with the life I've lived so far and as I get closer to retirement years in my life, just be happy. But the thing that never went away from me was this feeling of being unfulfilled, and so I would say it's it's never too late, honestly. And I feel like I have so much life ahead of me still, and the one thing I don't want to do in my life is get to the last day of my life and look back with this regret of saying, "Oh, I wish I would have just done what I wanted to do." But anyway, that's my thought.
Yeah, I so much connect with your thought because many people they don't have the liberty to um, enjoy love or having a family or having those soulful moments in their lives. Although they may have the whole world's wealth and all those external achievements. Yeah, it's good. It's good to Money is important, but exactly as you said, when on our last day, if we recount, I believe we wouldn't say that, oh, I earned this much money, so I'm happy. This was the purpose. They won't recollect that. They'll just try to recollect the happy moments they have had, or those loving moments they had with their family members or their loved ones, or those moments when they were the happiest and the most contented.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love what you just said that it's more than financial success. It could be relationships, it could be your own health, it could be your spirituality in any area of your life where you feel like you've held back and not l- stepped into your full purpose and potential.
Beautiful, Dean. So, if our listeners would like to connect with you, what will be the best way to do that?
Thank you. Yes, the easiest way to do that would be my website, deantaylorofficial.com would be a great way to connect. I would love to connect with anyone who uh, listens and would love to connect more. That would be a real honor and a privilege.
Wonderful. I'll make sure to have all the details in the show notes. And Dean, this has been such a thoughtful conversation, thoughtful and profound, because you reminded us that purpose doesn't have to retire, and it is never too late to rewrite our story with intention, clarity, and of course, gratitude. So, thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it today and just really grateful that you would have me on your show. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dean. And to all the listeners, thank you so much to all of you for being a part of the BizBlend podcast. And if something in today's conversation stirred within you, don't ignore it. Maybe, maybe your vision didn't disappear. It just needs a little oxygen and action. Until then, follow us, share this episode with your loved ones, and until next time, stay tuned to BizBlend. This is your host, Sana, signing off. Thank you.